What is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. I almost keep saying Monday because I still can't get my head around that it was just a long weekend. And I'm sad it's over, but I'm excited to be back here doing it. And Sheets is with us. Sheets.
Sort of. So Sheets has to update his projections. I just got that.
Sheets will update his projections, and I will go through what I'm doing on this slate. I'm just going to go through some ownership. I really hate the pitching. Somebody, look, it's just baseball. There's going to be a few guys who put up good numbers. So here's the guys who I'm rolling with the most. Garcia, Howard, Kikuchi. I have 15% Tyon, 15% Pavetta, 15% Hendricks, 15% Pepio, 15% Quantrill.
Who's
Dodgers,
Pepio?
He's a Dodgers pitcher because there's no Mitch White.
Oh, okay.
He's 9,900. It's a ridiculous price. But look, I'm just getting creative with some of these, and those are mostly in smaller buy-ins. My biggest buy-ins are going to be Garcia, Howard, Kikuchi, and I'm going to get some Hendricks in there and just play, close my eyes and pray kind of thing.
Is this Spencer Howard thing like are people talking about this? Is this like a total Bobby creation?
No, there's other people I know who are really, really, also really, really top level baseball guys who are into it. It's not like anyone. Look, it's spectacle. It's speculative. Speculative, but I think that on a slate like this where we really don't have any idea what to expect from these guys, I'll take the guy who just pitched. Okay,
just asked.
He's 5,700, and that's pretty much all I got, and allows me to differentiate a little bit build wise, but I don't think you need to worry as much about that today. In terms of stacks, Philadelphia, Houston are my favorites. Just worth noting though that Philadelphia does have an extreme pitchers umpire in that game, and in 5-man stacks when that comes into play, sometimes I like to veer other directions, and when there's other good stacks, and there are plenty today. Getting to some Cleveland. I'm getting to some Dodgers as a one-off anyway, whether you're playing the Dodgers or not. Mookie Betts is probably the best one-off on the slate. And 4,400 for Mookie Betts. Just I don't know if the entire time I've played DFS, Mookie Betts has been this cheap, except for this weekend. So I am very into that price. But as of right now, I'm using some Nick Allen as my cheap guy. Not the most exciting thing, a little bit of pop. He got a little bit of speed, but he hasn't nothing overwhelming. He's 2,200 and he fits in my shortstop position. Unfortunately, I was trying to work something out, but I couldn't get the right mix exactly to get a 3-man Houston stack with Alvarez. So I went a 3-man Houston stack with Alvarez and Pena. So I went 3-man Houston stack with Bregman, Altuve, and Tucker instead. Which I'm fine with. I prefer Pena a little bit over Bregman. Unfortunately, Nick Allen does not have third base eligibility, so I couldn't make it work.
What's going on with that weather game?
With the weather, so basically, I think that most of the games are going to be okay, but just because there's any risk at all, and I don't have that crazy amount of love for the Minnesota-Chicago situation anyway. I'm just sort of staying away from it. Every other game looks to be fairly okay. There's a little bit of some chances for some stuff in Boston. There's some rain in Boston. There's a little bit of some stuff in Philly, but in Baltimore. But it looks like most of it's cleared. So I'm just going to go ahead and play those ones. But it just does feel like a day where, again, you can fully stack 100%. It's a big slate. But doing some 4-2-2s, 3-3-2s, and stuff like that, I don't think it's the worst idea to do it on this kind of a slate because – there's some bats that you love to get, like Judge and Stanton, for example, but I'm not, the Yankees as a chalky stack when they get one of the biggest park downgrades of anybody on the slate, not going to be overwhelmingly excited about it at high ownership. So, but if I wanted to do a 2-man stack of just Judge and Stanton and then, build out a 4-man Philly or, go 4-4 or something like that. I just don't want to play team guys that are going to be like everybody's 15% owned on this slate, particularly because I don't think anybody's that much better than each other. Jose Ramirez, and if you're playing a cash game, I can tell you exactly what you're doing. You're playing Jose Ramirez. You're playing, without a doubt, you're playing Mookie Betts, and you're playing Luis Garcia, and they're basically locks. I feel like.
Both those cheap Philly guys make the lineup?
Which is the other? I don't know which guys you're talking about.
There are two guys. One, the
Derek
first baseman,
was always going to make he's in the lineup.
And what about the second baseman?
Bryson Stott. If you're going to make a 5-man stack, you can go down there. And I do like Stott in general, talent-wise, but I just didn't find any need to I would rather just make a 4-man stack with other guys who I can fit in, is the way that I sort of approached it, but certainly fine. Bryson Stott is, and he's batting 7th tonight, so he's probably even a little more viable than usual right now. Anyway, yeah, so that's pretty much my general rundown. I'll just go real quick before I get to the questions and go by positions. Catcher, my highest owned catcher is Real Muto, no shocker there, followed by Bethancourt. I do like Sean Murphy as well, but Bethancourt was a little easier to afford price-wise, so I went with that. And then Maley in your Cleveland stacks. I like the Atlanta stack, who I didn't mention, but I'm only getting to like them as mini stacks because if I'm paying up, I sort of prefer Houston and Philly, but I think that they're a really good stack. I think Matt Olson is the other first baseman outside of Hoskins and Hall that I like the most, along with Freeman. Second base, Altuve, Muncy, Jimenez, mostly stack related, but those are my guys. Third base, Bregman, Ramirez, Jake Lamb in Dodger stacks. Shortstop, Nick Allen, Dansby Swanson in Brave stacks, Turner in Dodger stacks, either Diaz or Pena in Houston stacks. And outfield, Schwarber, Tucker, Castellanos, Kwan, Reyes, Betts, and Alvarez are my highest owned, and they're pretty much the majority of my players. The pitching is a big who knows. I went through my pitchers, so hopefully that question was asked before that. Pepio, I don't think it's very likely that Pepio gets. I think 5 innings would be probably maybe not the ceiling, but the most likely outcome for Pepio. I think there's an outside chance he can get to 6 innings. So you can do it. Yeah, I mean it's slate. I can't say no to any pitcher because they're all viable-ish, and nobody stands out to look like they're going to get 30 DK points or 50 FanDuel points. Now somebody probably will, but it's going to be a weird way. The guy who I'm really low on that maybe other people are on is Alex Wood. I just would rather play the guys with a strikeout upside than a chalky guy who, a good game, he's going to get 20 points, and I'll take it, But I think Ian Anderson has every bit as good of a chance to get those 20 points, and I actually switched over to Anderson. I think that Kikuchi has every bit as good of a chance. I think that Spencer Howard has every bit as good to get 15 points, which is all I would need at his price. And then you get the Hendricks and Tyon, who I think are both viable as well. So.
And I'm almost done with these projections, and then I'll circle back here.
I haven't looked at the pitching matchups tomorrow, but I can only imagine that it's going to be like every top pitcher in baseball.
Why? Oh, because no one's pitching tonight. Did Scherzer, go today? Did Scherzer go today?
I don't know, actually. Good question. I didn't pay attention to the day games. Let me see. All right, so go ahead, Sheets.
No, I know he was supposed to play. That's the only reason.
Yeah. Let's see what else. So that's the pitching. Got Ref Snyder. I guess that's not a pitching thing. All right.
This is an awful pitching slate. This is brutal.
Yeah. If it takes some weird one-offs too, like that are going to be like just like no ownership. Vlad Guerrero, Bichette, pretty much anybody from Toronto. No ownership is kind of interesting. All those guys are the power, and then maybe Matt Chapman revenge, even though it's not a real thing for hitters in baseball. Be kind of a nice. He's got the power to hit one out anyway. Scherzer starting. The game doesn't start till for 30 minutes, so he'll pitch tonight or 6:40 games. Boy, I would even probably be playing him coming back if he was on this slate because of the way.
Right.
It's just. I think I have a little too much Spencer Howard, by the way.
Dude, I think it's a great stand you're taking. I like it.
It's speculative, but it could work out. That's what I tell myself. Anyway.
Yeah, I think I want to talk myself into your other the other mad scientist play.
Which one was that one?
The not Freeland. What the hell's his name? The Cubs. Hendricks.
Oh yeah, Hendricks. Yeah. I mean, the weirdest part is if you just like wanted to do what people used to do and just say, oh, this guy just put up a bunch of points a couple times in a row, we'll play him. That might not be the worst thing to do on the slate, Yeah. And Hendricks averages like in he's had like half of his games it feels like have been in giant win games in Chicago. And Milwaukee, even while they have power, there's a lot of Ks in that lineup. So I'm just gonna do a quick Hendricks dig here. Let's see what we've got versus these guys, because he's got a lot of experience against Milwaukee, although some of these guys didn't used to play there. Well, they've hit him pretty good, to be honest with you. Wow, pretty much. I'm looking at who's going to be in the lineup. Colton Wong has just destroyed it. Well, nothing like he's 20 for 1953. I don't know where all the numbers are coming from. Oh, Jace Peterson's gotten them. No, I'm okay with it still. I'm not too worried about it. It's just because we don't have anybody else. I don't really think he and Kikuchi are such different plays where I need to just. Oh, Kikuchi's a great play, and he's not. I just think that they're close enough, even though Oakland's lineup doesn't scare you as much. Yeah, Kikuchi's probably a slightly better play, but at the ownership, I think it's definitely worth playing some Hendricks. And I actually have them two together in a couple lineups.
Hey, so I have an idea. Do you like Tampa at all?
I like Tampa.
Not so much.
Didn't even really occur to me.
Okay. I mean, Pivetta, he's a GPP guy, but you know that means he's the opposite also.
Just feels like unnecessarily creative.
Okay.
Pivetta hasn't been hit hard. Basically, hasn't given up more than 4 runs in a game this season. He had 1 at the beginning of the year. We gave 5. Second start of the season. Other than that, he's been pretty much hasn't really been touched up much at all. Yeah, it could get there. It's not for me.
Not your favorite. Okay.
Not for me. Yeah. And let's see what we've got here. Trying to lessen my ownership of Spencer Howard as we go by here.
I don't do that. Let's see.
I mean, I don't need to have 50% of them. So I hate these weird slates where you end up taking more pitchers than. Yeah. Anyway, I love the State King guys and everything, but it's really tough every day when we're out live. That's when they.
I think Garcia is pretty safe. Kikuchi, it feels so dirty to pick him in high ownership. You can get to the Yankees if you want.
Yeah, the Yankees are pretty easy, and the Yankees are going to be really popular. I think they're the chalk of the slate.
I like so I'm trying to think of this. So Howard is on Texas, right? 57.
Yeah. And that's partly why I got to probably get out of here in 8 minutes. I do need to double check the weather if I'm going to play that much of a pitcher. Oh wait, Rizzo scratched. Rody says that's interesting. No thoughts on the Rays Red Sox game. It's mostly a stay away. I do have both sprinklings of Pivetta. That's pretty much all I have for you there. No interest.
Rizzo is scratched. That is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. And let me just get rid of shoot. I did have a couple of mini Yankee stacks with Rizzo in there, and obviously not going to do that.
Yeah, I got to do something. I got to take out my Rizzo because I had some of him.
Pepio's. Oh yeah, he's legit. He's absolutely a legit prospect, and he's thrown pitches in his other games. It's just he hasn't. I mean, he's not going to probably eclipse 85 pitches, and even that might be asking for more than he actually goes. They're really going to be careful with him. But if he's just cruising along and it's 5-0 and in the 5th or something, and unless he gets a couple runners on, he probably qualifies for the win and probably has himself 5 or 6 strikeouts at least in that spot. So, but he's 9,900 on DK, which is just a crazy price. But I don't mind the gamble.
I still kind of think Kopech's an okay play.
If he's able to play, absolutely. If that game goes, you just have to ask yourself: are you willing to risk it for a guy who's a borderline play in a weather game?
Let me see what the latest weather is there. Yeah. Yeah, there's no need for that. I agree.
Yeah. But, I mean, the truth is it probably plays. But what does that mean for him? What if there's a delay? I mean, for a young pitcher, it's the kind of thing you don't expect him to necessarily play that much there. I don't know. All right, let's see. Any good catchers in mind for today? I went through all my catchers, and I'll do it again. Real Muto is my highest owned catcher. Bethancourt next with Maley because of the stacks I'm using. And that's pretty much my catcher pool. Maybe some Maldonado and 5-man Houston stacks. Sean Murphy's a really good play if you can get the extra 700. I just couldn't get there with Bethancourt. I've got a lot of A's mini stacks. Like 2-man stacks, not like mini stacks, even just like Bethancourt. I actually have a Bethancourt and Murphy one, which just to get a little weird. Pinder, not crazy about the Pinder play, but just throwing out a couple of cheapos in that game. All right.
Is playing Jeffrey Springs dangerous for your health? Probably.
Well, the Springs, he's coming back. He hasn't pitched. So if we already have this high variance, we really don't know what they're going to – well, it's the personal thing that he left for, so he probably should be stretched out still. Yeah. But he hasn't pitched in, 11 days now. My guess is that with the younger guys, they tend to be a little careful. Obviously, a terrible matchup.
Yeah, no need.
I mean, but maybe. Like, he belongs in the same Pavetta conversation, and maybe not quite as good as Taillon or Pepio because they have matchups that are better. All right, fire on any last questions, guys, because I might be out of here pretty soon. I want to make sure the weather's what it is before I get my lineups locked away.
Garcia, Kikuchi, Pavetta, Piquet. I got a little of Spencer Howard too. Yeah, it's a rotten slate.
It's pretty nasty, which means it could be fun.
Yeah. Cheap slate.
Yeah. Although I have a feeling the offenses are going to go nuts tonight, a few of them.
If only we knew which ones.
Hey, I like that. I like the Philly-Houston combo.
Yeah.
And as much as I like, if we're going to conclude all these guys like Hendricks and Kikuchi and all that, I think we probably should throw in like one Herman Marquis, just to be weird. It's just such a weird slate. Why not go even weirder and just anti the Dodgers thing? And Marquis has great numbers against the Dodgers historically. I know they just let him up in Colorado, but we keep seeing this happen. It's the same trend. Every time a pitcher faces a guy team back to back, they have the exact opposite outcomes every time. And that's how bad the pitching is. That I'm talking about pitching Marquis against the Dodgers at 7,700. That's pretty bad.
Right.
Oh, look at that. My mailbox. I have too much old mail in there, so I have to get more storage because I just tried to check, make sure I had everything right. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, so just so you know, tomorrow is going to be a rough one for me. I'm going to be out all day.
Okay.
I'm going to try to find some time to do maybe a golf video. I'll definitely get the golf projections up at some point. And as far as the baseball projections, it's going to be we might get the ire of the people mad at me tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it. I'll have to see. I'll post in Discord, I suppose. But I unless I'm up super early before I leave, I'll do something really early. Otherwise, I'll try to sneak out at some point during tomorrow. It's going to be tough tomorrow, so I'll do my best to post in Discord what's going on.
Appreciate that. I'm just double checking this Rizzo thing, but I'm actually I'll do the morning video. I'll do my stuff, but then I'm going to be gone. It's very, very unlikely that I'm able to go live, but I will be able to be on Discord before live. So I'm happy to talk through that. Maybe I can ask Brody if he can fill it. If not, we can, I also think I might be able to do live for the morning slate too.
There's a morning slate?
I don't know how big it's going to be, but I think it's at least 4 games. So if I'm going to, I may just combine both because I've got to probably leave here at 11 and I probably won't be anywhere back till 6 p.m. West Coast time. So it's 9 p.m. Eastern.
Well, the good news is I will definitely have golf projections up. I'm starting doing now, actually.
Rid of Rizzo.
So is that confirmed? The Rizzo's out?
I'm double checking this lineup. The things I'm looking at still have him in there, but I think he is out. Where is? Let's see real quick. Yeah, he's out.
Okay.
I'm using some Cal Quantrill too. I'm not sure if I mentioned that.
Yeah, I have a sliver.
If you're going to play against Detroit, you've got a guy with an extreme leash. He pitches 90 pitches every game he pitches. It's the worst offense in baseball that he's facing. Definitely worth taking a shot there. It's not like the most exciting play, but I'm doing some of it. All right, and it looks like I'm going to get out of here pretty soon so I can go get the weather stuff and make sure I've got everything figured out.
Yeah, I'm going to work on these golf projections before dinner. How about that?
Awesome. All right, Sheets, is that it? Because let's see, I'm going to open my other thing, but I can just mute my screen here. And
no, I'll just at least tell people what I'm doing. I'm actually going to do some of that Tampa thing. And aside from that, pretty much everybody we talked about. I'm almost locking in Garcia actually, and then probably more Kikuchi than I'm supposed to, and then I have sprinkles of pretty much everybody else that you mentioned.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Anyway, good luck tonight, Sheets. Good luck, everybody. See you guys later.